यूं ही चला चल रही, यूं ही चला चल रही जीवन.
Hello guys, the Random Podcast is back with its second episode, or the first episode. We would consider the last episode to be our 0th episode because it was, you know how it was. So we have decided to make a series of 3 episodes talking mainly about the history and the current system of India, political system, and everything of that sort. So, in this particular episode, we have collected a lot of information and research, and we are going to talk mainly about the about the time until which British Raj started. That is, you can take it roughly to be of from 18th century, early 18th century, say, to like the British, like when the Britishers started coming, from then onwards to 1847. Am I right, guys? 1847 was the year when British Raj started, right? Officially, I mean, 1857, 1858 to
1857.
1857. Right.
1857 was the revolution, but
Yeah,
in
1888,
yeah,
the Queen
Britishers
took
were
over.
ruling for quite some time.
So we have divided amongst ourselves certain things, and we really want to make this experience informative for you. So we'll start it off. Okay, who will start? Nidhi or Ajay? Who will start?
Yeah, fine.
Nitish, शुरू हो जा.
Okay, I'll start.
He's sad about it.
So
Okay, I will start. What can I do?
yeah, I'll
अरे
start with
ऊपर क्या है वो?
Yeah, so I'll start with Punjab. So basically, what you guys must have heard about the Anglo-Sikh Wars.
Yes.
Yeah, so basically, the Punjab and the whole north area, including Kashmir and stuff, was ruled by a king called Maharaja Ranjit Singh.
Okay,
Yeah, so
I've
he's
heard
in
about
my
it.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he basically the East India Company was gaining power. So they they wanted to invade the area. So they started like putting troops on the Punjab border and stuff. So he got threatened by
This
it.
was
So
in
this
which year?
1840s, 1840 to 1850.
That's when the East India Company entered that side of the country, you mean?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
They were slowly gaining power.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the culmination of events led to the first Anglo-Sikh War.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just put some points about how Ranjit Singh was as a ruler. So
Okay.
he was basically a secular guy. At least in his empire, in his army he had Punjabis like Sikhs and Hindus and Muslims. But I found out from somewhere I told right he ruled in the Kashmir area. So there like Muslims were oppressed. They were forced to like convert and stuff.
Wow.
Okay.
So these are two contradicting like realities. So I don't know which is true. Yeah. So basically this was a gist and
I think
it led to
Ranjit
the
Singh is
treaty of
closely Ranjit Singh or some other king is of Kashmir is closely connected with the whole partition thing also, and the whole Kashmir issue that started off, if I am not sure, right? The
yeah,
constitution.
correct. So after Ranjit Singh died, there was no proper ruler.
Okay.
Yeah, so this led to two power factions. One was the Sikh Sindhanwalas, and another one was the Dogras.
Okay.
So the Dogras is what led to the king during the partition was a Dogra.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So the under the Treaty of Amritsar, the Dogra king he got power of the whole Kashmir area. like the Britishers sold the Kashmir to this king because they couldn't control it efficiently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I start
So
my southern
yeah,
thing now?
we'll come to the. Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. So I'll start the southern thing. So I have done some research. So yeah, flamingos and stuff. So south of India now. Now that we are talking about from 18th century to up till what 1894, 1847 or so. I've digged into the past. Like when was the first time that any person outside of India had first visited India? We all know Vasco da Gama was the first person who was a Portuguese. He came in 1498. Okay, he came to Calicut. Okay, there's a very interesting story of his. We'll talk about that later. Okay, this was in 1498. Then in 1595, okay, the Dutch, that is basically the people from of Norwegian ethnicity, in 1598 first visited India for trading. Okay, they came to a place called Pulicat. That's how probably it's pronounced. So this
Where
particular
is
picture that
Pulicat?
you can see is the picture of Pulicat. It's very popular for this whole Dutch thing that went on. It's a very beautiful beach. That's when the first time Dutch visited India. Yeah, Ajay, you were telling something.
I was asking where Pulicat is.
It's in Tamil Nadu. It's in Tamil Nadu, the coastal region, right? And then we have in 1616, Danish Danish as in the people from Denmark, basically, had first visited India in a they visited a place called Trankebar. Okay, and they had left a huge influence. See, this particular thing that you can see was the fort that they built, the fort that the Danish people built. Okay, this was in 1616. So, and so before Dutch, so
Place?
after yeah, you have to tell something.
Which place is this?
That is again in Tamil Nadu. Yeah.
Oh,
So after
okay.
after Dutch and before Danish, we had Brits. Okay, that is they first visited the British people. So the Brits first visited Surat in 1608. 1608. That was the first time that the Britain people ever visited India, and the thing that you can see in the background, that's the factory that they set up. Okay, this is related.
Okay.
This happened in North. You can see that all the other three people who came for trading came to South, specifically two in Tamil Nadu and one in Kerala, right? And Brits were the only people probably who came to Surat, the northwestern side of India, and that was in 1608. Now I have told you that there's so I told you there's something very interesting when it comes to how what happened when Vasco da Gama first visited India, right? You can see. I mean, this is the rough depiction of the same. The king of Calicut was a person. He's officially known as a Zamorin or something. Okay, that guy. So that is Vasco da Gama. It
Okay.
seems this was how it all began, and you can see it's very. I mean, it's a very important part of our history. That's the first time when a person, or that's the first time when a person officially visited, and it was documented also, right? And acha, there is also a very interesting thing about the Battle of Kulachal. Okay, this was in August 10th, 1741. Yeah, what happened is, I think you guys must be knowing, as Nitikesh was telling the other day, ki Dutch East India Company was very prosperous back then, right? Yeah. So actually, what happened is on August 10th, 1741, uh, the Dutch East India Company had officially, this is documented, officially lost a war that they waged on Kerala, specifically Trivandrum. Okay, the king at that point of time was Raja Marthanda Varma. So they lost the war that they waged, and the king had officially won. And the interesting part is, the Dutch were like, uh,
Hmm.
we want to flee. You give us our weapons back. We'll go back to Pondicherry, and from then there we'll go whatever. But Marthanda Varma didn't do this. He imprisoned them, and later on he released them. He gave them their weapons and told to serve for the kingdom of his. So that's what they had to do. So that shows how much powerful the whole that small part of the kingdom was, back then. Okay, that is the basic, very basic history of history to the thing that you're talking about. Then we had Anglo-Indian wars and stuff. But I think Ajay, let's pass it on to Ajay now. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was dealing with the western and central part of India. So I literally had no idea about anything. Literally before pre before INC and all of Gandhi's movements and stuff, I had no idea we had such rich history.
अभी एक मिनट रुक जा, resume East India Company come into India.
Niti, you had it out. Acha, when did the Dutch East India Company came? Dutch East India Company came in 1595 to a place called
Oh.
Pulicat. This was in Tamil Nadu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so back to my point. We had first Anglo-Maratha wars. This was started back in 1772 when the Peshwa is like the highest command, okay? So this guy named Madhav Rao Peshwa had died. So his brother Narayan Rao became the Peshwa. Now Narayan Rao got murdered by his palace guards through some politics हुआ, and उसका uncle बन गया. His uncle became uncle named Raghunath Rao.
ये
He became the Peshwa.
तीसरा पेशवा था.
He's the third Peshwa. Okay. However, the second Peshwa's wife, she said to instate his son, Narayan Rao's son, as the king, and she would rule the throne and the empire.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
Raghunath Rao got
I saw this somewhere.
the newborn.
Sorry.
Yeah, so the newborn was Savai Madhav Rao, which means 1.25 of Madhav Rao, basically.
Okay.
ठीक है?
Any logic?
So
behind
he
it?
said कि I don't know. They just kept his name as 1.25 Madhav Rao. for some reason.
When was this happening? Like what year?
This is in 1772.
Oh.
Okay.
Long after.
So within 3 years,
Brits came.
yeah. So within 3 years, this has happened, and now you can imagine the Maratha Empire was the biggest empire. They had defeated the Mughals in the previous few years,
What
and
about
they had
the
basically destroyed.
south part, the Krishnadeva Raya?
South part is Tipu Sultan and Krishnadeva
They
but
weren't as
mostly the Maratha Empire had occupied most of the territory in India.
Okay.
They were on a conquest to get most of the parts in India.
Okay.
Okay. So, Raghunath Rao got slightly scared that he didn't want to give up his position of power. So what he did, he sought help from the Britishers at Bombay, and he signed this treaty called Treaty of Surat in 1775.
Okay.
So according to this treaty, Raghunath would give territories like Salsette and Bassein and whatever there was to the British, and he would give some revenue from Saruch district. तो उन्होंने क्या बोला, जो हायर कमांड था उन्होंने बोला गांड मरा. ठीक है.
Okay.
They were like, remove this treaty, but we'll still take the revenue. There was this minister, Nana Fadnavis. he had violated his treaty in Calcutta Council by granting French a port on the west coast. So the Britishers got scared that these French people will try to come and conquer India's land. So in that, English retaliated against the forces of the Maratha Empire.
Mhm.
So initially, the Britishers kept on sending their troops, but in the final regards to the war, the Marathas won the first Anglo War,
Okay.
and this finished around 1781.
The
Now,
French supported
second,
Marathas.
yeah, the
Okay.
French supported Marathas because Nana Fadnavis was giving a port to the French.
Okay, this was in 17.
This was 1777.
अच्छा ठीक है. Okay. Late 18th century.
So a series of 3 wars went. This was the first Anglo-Maratha War. The second Anglo-Maratha War, the British had supported Peshwa Raghunath for the first one, right?
Mhm.
And now they continued with his second son, Bajirao II, second Anglo War.
Is this the same Mastani wala Bajirao or this the other the son
That
or
I don't know.
अच्छा, okay. ठीक है.
That,
हाँ.
I think someone else.
Okay.
So Bajirao II was trying to he killed one of uh, the so Maratha Empire had small what do you call it, chiefs, right?
Mhm.
So it had Holkar chief of Indore. So the Bajirao from Pune, he got into a fight with Malhar Rao Holkar, who is the chief of Indore. So Maratha Empire is divided into five. Okay, so there's your Peshwa from Pune, Gaikwads from Baroda, Sindhyas of Gwalior, and Holkar of Indore, and Bhosle of Nagpur.
अच्छा.
So
The British were backing only few, right? Whom did the
so the British, what they did, they provided a subsidiary alliance to Peshwa and Sindhya. But Nana Fadnavis, he was the minister, prime minister sort of position. He rejected it. But the Peshwas and Sindhyas tried to defeat Holkar of Indore at a battle of Pune. However, Bajirao was about to lose, so he fled to British protection. And basically, in the second war, the British have used this strategy of subsidiary alliance to
Yeah.
defeat
There was
all
something
the
about
chiefs.
correct.
So subsidiary alliances that the British grant kings their status, but they cannot rule. They cannot negotiate with other kingdoms, and they have to give at least 20% or something subsidiary for protection.
Yeah. Actually,
And
this was. Can I add something to that subsidiary alliance?
yeah.
So the
Yeah.
Brits, the East India Company, was like they were scared. They were scared to death. Ki they didn't want the other army to be part of it. Yeah. So
okay.
the Brits, So the Brits were shit scared that they didn't want other kingdoms or the other rulers to have their own army because they were like maybe they'll attack us. So उन्होंने क्या किया? The subsidiary alliance in 4 sentences to describe is like, you won't keep any army. We will give you army. This is EIC telling to other rulers. You will not keep any army. Point number 1. Point number 2. I'll give you army. You will pay me for the army that I gave, or I'll take your land. This was the subsidiary alliance का foundation. तेरे को मतलब तेरे को आर्मी नहीं रखने दूंगा, मैं तेरे को आर्मी देगा, तू मेरे को मैंने आर्मी दिया, पे करना पड़ेगा तेरे को, वरना मैं तेरा जमीन खींच लेगा.
The EIC had they were very technologically advanced compared to the Indian princes also.
Correct.
So they had basically no choice. Yeah.
Because it was probably inevitable that they would have lost.
Yeah,
Even
correct.
if they put up a fight.
Mhm.
And the Britishers were great strategists, I think.
Yeah.
because they got all these states nearby to come under the subsidiary alliance, and one by one they tried to take over this thing. So in the third war, exactly like that, they tried to, the whole of the Maratha Empire tried to get rid of the British Empire, but the Britishers punched them down, and that was basically from where the British Raj, not British Raj, the EIC got full control over India,
This was
like
in
almost full controls, because the Marathas. This was in 1818, 1817 to 1818.
1817 to 18. Correct,
So
correct. ठीक है. Right.
yeah, so once they were defeated, the Maratha Empire, this is where EIC got their whole power, almost the whole power over India.
अच्छा. अभी
Because
मेरे को
Maratha Empire was
yeah,
destroyed.
I want to add something over here. So west part से it was in 1817 or 1818. Basically the Maratha Empire. That was when Maratha Empire was defeated, right? Correct.
Yeah.
So southern part
1880,
से, yeah, around that time frame only. This was actually before that kind of. 1767 to 1799 में there were four wars from the southern part. You know that there was this guy called Tipu Sultan, very popular, right? तो उसी
Yeah,
टाइम में
of
क्या हुआ
course.
था? The Brits had control over certain regions of the northern part of India. We'll come back to that later. But southern part में से क्या हो रहा था कि basically four wars Britishers waged upon the kingdom of Mysuru. Okay, very powerful at that point of time, right? So Hyder Ali
Yeah.
was the first person. He was the person in the first war. ठीक है? He won it. Actually, there is one very interesting fact again over here. Now Brits were the Nawab of Hyderabad was supposed to support EIC for when they were waging war against the Mysuru kingdom, but Hyder Ali was was such a good leader or communicator that he somehow convinced the Nawab of Hyderabad to support him instead of EIC. ठीक है? And that is how the Mysuru kingdom won the first war with the support of Nawab of Hyderabad as well. And Maratha kingdom was not against this at that point of time. फिर second war हुआ, third war हुआ, fourth war हुआ. Second, third war चला गया, जीत गए थे वापस ही. The Mysuru people again won. But fourth war में what happened in fourth war is this is where the things get connected. In fourth war, the Marathas and the Hyderabad, the Nawab of Hyderabad, both supported EIC. Okay, to both supported EIC, because of which India had because of which Tipu Sultan's kingdom had lost. Just a minute. Yeah, so that is how it is connected. So the Marathas, the East India Company, and the Nawab of Hyderabad, all the three together attacked Tipu, who was the leader at that point of time. He was powerful. Let's not go into his personality. So he was powerful. Okay. So and then obviously they had to the kingdom had lost, and now officially East India Company had the control over the southern part of India. The southern part of India was very powerful at that point of time. So now that they got the control, they had won a very big this thing, right? Acha. Tipu
Can you tell
actually
something
used to
about Napoleon and
exactly
Tipu connection?
exactly. There's one very fun fact over here. The only support that Tipu had was the support of French. Now, why was that so? Now there is a very big, very fun, very big history over here. Napoleon Bonaparte, okay, was conquering different parts of the world. Okay, he was waging many wars throughout the world. Now, the Brits were one of the main enemies of the French at that point of time. French was ruled by
correct.
Napoleon Bonaparte. तो क्या हुआ? तो Napoleon Bonaparte was like, अच्छा, he realized कि East India, most of the wealth of British army was coming from India. ठीक है? So he was like, if he can cut off the Brits from India, ठीक है, then he can maybe win over the British. तो उसने क्या किया? He wrote when he was in Egypt, ठीक है, he was about to come to India. This happened during the fourth war. Okay, he was about to come to India to support with a huge army to support Tipu Sultan. so that they can defeat East India Company. So he wrote a letter. Okay? He wrote a letter to Tipu Sultan, citing that I'm coming to you, my friend, or whatever. And he was again religious stuff he had included. He used something called religious politics. Okay? This has a huge history in itself. So he came. Unfortunately, the letter that he had sent, British had caught it. Okay, they caught the letter. Napoleon was in with his army was in Egypt at that point of time. Brits were present in Egypt
Oh,
also. They kicked Napoleon and his army off. They caught the letter. They saw that Tipu is becoming very powerful. We have to kill him. They prepared the war. They waged the war against Tipu, and Tipu dies. That is how they control South India. The connection between Tipu and Napoleon Bonaparte is very important over here. Otherwise, EIC would have never prepared for that kind of an army. Okay? It would have just gone for a smaller army again for the Fourth World, because they realized that he's teaming up with Napoleon. That is when they thought that they have to take things into their control. Now, why did Marathas and Nawab of Hyderabad support British at that point, EIC at that point of time in the first place? Now, Tipu Sultan used to pay, Tipu and Marathas always had problems, because Tipu had committed a lot of religious atrocities on Hindus, and Marathas were always for Hindus per se. So he used to pay 12 lakhs per annum to Marathas, as Ajay was telling the other day, annual dues. But then I think they weren't satisfied with it or whatever. They had this constant this thing, and the Nawab of Hyderabad realized that he alone cannot take on East India Company. So he was like, he wanted to set things off diplomatically. He was like, "मैं तेरे को अभी support देगा. I'll give you the support now to defeat Tipu, and you won't even you simply won't have any interest in my kingdom." That is what it happened. If you see, East India Company never waged any war against Hyderabad or the Nawabs. The history goes to connects to this. The reason was this key. They had supported this. Yeah, that was how it was. Yeah.
They made a coalition with the EIC or the Marathas?
The Nawab of Hyderabad with EIC.
Okay.
surprise.